Chapter 1: Whispers from the Abbey. The first rays of dawn painted a celestial canvas across the vast expanse of the Atlantic Ocean as the SS Medina navigated its course towards the New World. Amidst the murmur of the awakening vessel and the salt-laden breeze, a hush settled over Jane Eyre and Edward Rochester, two souls bound by an extraordinary union, yet haunted by the shadows of their past. Their cabin, nestled deep within the bowels of the ship, was bathed in the soft glow of lamplight, casting long shadows that seemed to dance and writhe around them like spectral apparitions. Jane, her eyes heavy with sleep, stirred slowly, her fingers tracing the familiar outline of Rochester's hand entwined with hers. "Dear Jane," he whispered, his voice rough with emotion, "I cannot help but feel that we have left a part of ourselves behind in England." Jane sighed and turned to face him, her gaze lingering on the ghostly visage of Thornfield Hall that seemed to loom before them. "Indeed, Rochester," she agreed softly, "Thornfield has left an indelible mark upon us both." The memory of Bertha Mason, the madwoman who had once dwelt in their marital home, still haunted their dreams. The cruelty of her confinement, the tragedy of her descent into madness, it was a specter that would not be laid to rest. But it was not only Thornfield's shadows that pursued them. The very air of America seemed to hum with whispers of another darkness. As the days passed, and the Medina drew closer to its destination, those whispers grew louder, taking on a tangible form in the cries of slaves laboring on plantations along the coast. Jane, her heart aching with empathy, could not turn away from their plight, even as Rochester sought to shield her from the brutality that lay just beyond the ship's railing. One evening, as they stood on deck watching the sun set in a blaze of fiery red and gold, Jane felt a sudden chill sweep through her. She glanced around, searching for its source, only to find herself face to face with a runaway slave, a young woman, no older than she, her eyes wide and frightened as she clung to the railing for dear life. "Please," the girl pleaded, her voice barely above a whisper, "help me, I cannot return to that place." Jane's heart leapt within her breast as she reached out a trembling hand, enveloping the girl in a fierce embrace. "We will help you," she vowed, her eyes flashing with determination. "But we must be careful, there are those who would see you recaptured." Rochester, his face set in grim lines, nodded silently in agreement. The couple exchanged glances, their shared trauma, the ghosts of Thornfield and Bertha Mason, the cruelty they had witnessed on this very voyage, strengthening their bond, even as it filled them with a newfound purpose. For days, Jane and Rochester worked tirelessly to aid the runaway slave, guiding her through a network of sympathetic souls who offered sanctuary from the oppressive grasp of slavery. As they journeyed together, Jane's fierce independence shone like a beacon in the darkness, pushing Rochester to reconsider his position and question the very foundations upon which their new life was built. It was during one such journey that they stumbled upon a hidden sanctuary, a farm nestled deep within the heart of the wilderness, where escaped slaves were offered shelter and hope. As they stepped onto the worn earth of the farmyard, Jane felt a surge of relief wash over her, as if she had finally found a place where Bertha Mason's ghost could rest in peace. The serenity was short-lived, for it was not long before they bore witness to the brutal treatment of captured runaways by slave catchers. The cries of pain and terror that echoed through the night haunted Jane's dreams as she stood amidst the suffering with Rochester at her side. "We cannot stand idly by while these innocent souls are torn from their families," Jane cried out, her voice choked with emotion. "We must do something. Rochester, we have been given a second chance, and it is our duty to use it for the betterment of others." Rochester, his eyes meeting hers, nodded solemnly. "You are right, my love," he agreed, his voice thick with emotion. "We will do whatever it takes to help these people to fight against the oppression that has cast its dark shadow over this land." With a renewed sense of purpose, Jane and Rochester vowed to dedicate their lives to the cause of freedom, even as they continued to be haunted by the ghosts of their past. For in America, amidst the whispers of oppression and the cries of the enslaved, they found not only a new beginning, but also a shared mission, one that would bind them together in a bond stronger than any that had come before. And as they stood on the shores of their new home, hand in hand amidst the crashing waves, Jane felt a sense of peace settle over her heart. For she knew that, even in the face of darkness and despair, there could always be hope, and that, with Rochester by her side, she would face whatever challenges lay ahead with courage, determination, and unwavering love.